Alrighty, you got Jerry and Todd Auto Repair here coming at you. It's been a while since our last video, which is good news, meaning we haven't had any car troubles. But tonight we're going to be working on replacing some brake pads. The brake squealers have started to make some noise. I went ahead and did the back brakes last night, and we're going to do the front brakes tonight. So I thought I'd create a video. Hopefully you can find it educational and enjoyable at the same time. But let's go ahead and get started with this project. But first, let's go over what we need for the project. We got our floor jack and 2 jack stands. Make sure we're being safe with getting this car up in the air. We got our tire wrench, our hammer, and an F-clamp, our 12mm socket, and a bungee cord. And then we've got our genuine Honda parts here, brake pads and some shims. It comes with some grease as well as some pins. And then I got some Q-tips there to apply the grease. So that's all the tools you need for this project. So let's go ahead and get this project started. This car is just under 200,000 miles. So it may seem a little late to be replacing the brakes, but it's just like putting a total joint in a 95-year-old. You never know how many more years you got in it. So we're going to go ahead and take care of it and get this car back to the standard. So I'll be coming right back at you. All right, we got the wheel off. Just got to make sure we got our stuff secured on the jack stands, taking all safety precautions. But here's what we're looking at here. We got our caliper here, and you can see the brake pads in here. So we're going to go ahead and take this assembly apart. You can see the gas line here. So I'll go ahead and take that caliper off of there, and then we'll update you then. So get our 12mm socket wrench. We got a bolt in the top here and one down here. Once we take those off, we can take this whole assembly off, and that'll expose the brake pads. Be right back at you. All right, you can see now that I've removed the caliper and I've got it hung from this coil there with a bungee cord. We need to make sure we preserve the line here and don't let it get kinked or cracked. Otherwise, that's a major problem. Your brake fluid would be all over, and that'd be a problem. And then the bracket remains here, and here's the brake pads. We'll go ahead and remove those by first removing these pins here, and then both of these brake pads will just kind of slide out, and we'll go ahead and put the new ones in. All right, pads are off, so they're over here. So our next step is to get these other new pads ready to go. Here's the old ones. You can see how they're pretty much worn off. Here's the wear indicator right here, the squealer, that starts to rub on the rotor when the pad is worn to that level. Here's the new ones. You can see how nice and thick they are. But the first thing we need to do to get these pads ready is we need to apply the shims. They just clip on the back side of the pad here. And what they do is they reduce any noise from where the caliper makes contact with them. Let's just snap these into place. There we go. And then the last step we need to take to get these ready to go is then we take and apply the grease, the brake grease. We apply it just on the edges here and on the bottom, and then along the back side. And that's just where, as you set them in, we want to have this spot right here be lubed, and then where the caliper on the back side is going to be making contact with that brake pad. So we'll go ahead and I'll get those prepped, and then I'll show you how they fit in. All right, here's what it looks like. It's all lubed up on the ends, and I got the shims on. The back of the shim is lubed as well. And we'll just go ahead and fit it right into the brackets there, and then apply it up against the rotor. So go ahead and apply it here and into place. So that brake pad's ready to go. Let's get the other one ready to go, and then we'll get that one in place. All right, you got the back pad ready to go, lubed up on the top and bottom, and also on the back side. You can see there's the wear indicator, and the pad on the inside is where you want to have a wear indicator and have it up on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that in the back here. I'm going to have to turn the video off so I can use both hands to get those in place. But then I'll show you the finished product when we get done putting it in. All right, both pads are in place. The next thing is I need to come back to my caliper here, and you can see those 2 circles are those pistons. Notice how they're, there we go, they're kind of pushed out a little bit. I need to take a tool and push those back in. That's what that F-clamp is for, because as the brake wears, the system pushes those out to keep the pads against the rotors. So now to make it fit over these new thicker brake pads, I got to push those things back in, but be very careful when I do that. And one thing that I need to do before I do that is I need to come up here to the engine and take the cap off where the brake fluid is, this guy right here, because we need to allow that fluid to come through and just the air to come out of the system as well. So I'll just remove the cap, set it right here on the dash there, and then when we're all done, we'll just put that cap back on and reset the system. So I'll go ahead and use my tool to do this, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, now you can take a look and see that I pushed those pistons in again with that F-clamp, just putting an old brake pad on the one side and clamping her on both sides and holding it carefully to preserve the brake line there, but pushed them back in. So now between that space there, we'll be able to fit them over these brake pads. So let's go ahead and get ready to reapply this and put this together. Okay, I put the brake pads, the pins in there, and then slipped the caliper over top, and I just reapplied the nuts here. So now I gotta just snug these things down. And you don't want to over tighten these, just tight, and then just a little more. Both of them here. Don't have the fancy torque tool, so I can't necessarily get it to be exactly what they say, but up and that's probably about right. And that's it. There's our new brake pad in there. And rotor's looking good shape. We need to make sure you don't get any grease on the rotors. That would be a bad thing. So this one is all ready to go. Check the gas or the brake line there. I don't see any leaks or cracks as I was compressing the piston. So they say you gotta do that nice and slow so you don't create an issue there. But this one's good to go. I'll put the wheel back on, and then I'll do the other side, and then we'll see how this works out for us. All right, got the left side done as well, the driver's side. Went ahead and lowered the car, made sure I reapplied the cap to the brake fluid in the engine, retorqued the wheels, made sure we took care of all of those safety things, make sure everything's put back together. Here's our parts. The larger ones are from the front, and the smaller ones are the rear brakes from yesterday, and some pins there, so those are going to be retired. Last step we have is we need to now go in the car and kind of reset the brake, because right now when I go push on this brake pedal, it's going to go right to the floor because I had pushed those pistons back. So the first thing I need to do is come in here, and I'm going to just push on the gas pedal or the brake pedal. Look at that, all the way down to the floor. Let it go. Do it again, and look at that. Now it's reset. There we go. I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and back the car out, and let's take it for a ride and see how the brakes perform. All right, let's take this thing for a ride and see how these brakes work. Here you can see my mileage on this thing, 199,426. This car has done really well. Did my oil changes last week, so it's at 100%. All right, well, let's go ahead and give this thing a ride. We're in the neighborhood here, so might as well give it a try in the neighborhood, where in the event that we do have to bail out, we got a front yard we can land in. All right, here we go. We'll keep her under the speed limit. See how we do as we approach this stop sign. Got a pedestrian on the right, so we will have to bail to the left. All right, there we go. Nice and smooth brakes, no noises, no rattles, no shakes. I think we got a winner. All right, so this job, the rear brakes cost me $84 and the front brakes cost me $70. So for about 150 bucks, I was able to change my brakes. And when I looked it up online, it was saying it would cost between 250 and 350 bucks to do just one of them. So I probably saved several $100s by doing this. But we got to dedicate this video to the Big Jer. Big Jer for all he taught me over the years and the ambition to want to try to do stuff like this, and just the man he was. So rest in peace, Big Jer. And that's it for this video. Stay tuned for the next Jerry and Todd's Auto Repair. But for now, please press like next to the video and have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.